Okay.
Let's talk.
So Steve's here with us, running cameras and sound. And
Steve.
he's going to bring in the records today. He's going to pick these for us and see what we get. Oh, my gosh.
Ooh.
Okay.
So we're talking about makeup, but we also got to talk about big hair here.
Okay.
Okay.
So
there's some big hair on this one.
This band, I remember I was so excited when this album came out.
All right. I'm going to tell you, before you even go there,
Okay.
I'm going to say, I remember you telling me about a singer in college from a band, what was it, Stone Fury?
Stone Fury.
All right.
Stone
Dude,
Fury.
I remember that. And you were like, dude, this singer's so awesome.
Lenny Wolf was his name.
And
him and a guy named Bruce Gowdy had a band called Stone Fury. They had
Right.
2 albums.
Oh, you played it for me. You were like, dude,
Burns
let's hang
Like
out
a
and put me on
Star
Stone
and Let
Fury.
Them Talk. These 2 albums, I know I say this a lot, are 2 of my favorite rock albums.
Right next to Billy Squier.
I
Come
played
on.
those albums. Even Let Them Talk, which a lot of people didn't like because there was a lot of like electronic stuff in it. I wish I don't know where Bruce. I've tried to find Bruce Gowdy just to figure out what the dude's doing. I think he might work for Roland or something now. But those 2 guys, Stone Fury, they did have one song that got a bunch of airplay. It was called
All right, so do it. You play it. Sing it
Break
out.
Down the Wall. You, me, now. I say we can break down the walls. You and me. I say we can break down the walls. Anyway, I loved Stone Fury. It was a total accidental buy.
Yeah,
I bought Burns Like a Star on a whim at a store once. Terrible album cover, but it seemed cool, and it was such a great album. It was so great, Stone Fury. Then they came out with Let Them Talk, which I loved just as much, if not more.
You're very much the salesman of Stone Fury.
I loved Stone Fury.
I want to
so
say
much.
that I brought over like a
they're so good.
blank cassette tape, and you're like, dude, I'm going to put these on there for you. Like, Stone Fury. I had it. It's probably in my
it's Beavis and
400
Butthead. So very sorry.
Yeah.
I loved them, man. They were so good. Well, then of course.
So that's when you see this, that triggered that.
Yeah.
That Stone Fury,
So
Lenny Wolf.
Stone Fury just kind of disappears, and then you start hearing that this
your
guy.
Your
heart breaks, yeah.
Yeah, that's your heart shattering.
And then you hear that this guy named Lenny Wolf
sarcasm.
has this new band called Kingdom Come, and an album's coming out with this thing, and I'm just like, so
Stone Fury
what's so funny about this
reincarnated.
stuff, man? What's so funny about this stuff is, keep in mind, I'm acting it out how excited I was. Keep in mind, I'm 14, 15.
Nah,
you're
dude.
at that age.
We were older. When this came out, we were already
This was
in college.
86, 87, right?
were
Okay,
in
so I'm
college.
17. I'm a kid. A
young man.
Okay, I'm a very young guy
man.
when this stuff is coming out. Maybe I was 18.
Not quite young adults, but
Maybe I was 18 when this came out. But I was so excited for this thing to
Not
come out.
quite the
And
peak
this
of
was
our
a
powers.
departure from
Stone
Fury. This was very different because this was more. Who were they compared to?
Come on.
Who were they compared to?
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. And I'll tell you something. Today, who's compared to them?
Greta
Van Fleet.
Yeah.
Now, I think that kid's voice sounds more like him
Like Lenny Wolf.
than Lenny Wolf than he does Robert Plant. Listen to this guy, and you're going to hear that. This guy mixed with Mark Slaughter, and you have the Greta Van Fleet kid,
True.
more so than Robert Plant.
I like it.
That's what's going. But anyway, that's what was going to come because Lenny Wolf, who was Kingdom Come, he's going to be the singer, and I can't remember where he's from. He's not English. I mean, what I mean is English is not his native language. I think he's Swedish maybe or
I thought
something.
it was
like
like
that.
German.
Maybe he is German, but
I don't know why.
he
I'm
had this
thinking that.
really huge, very high, unique voice, and I loved this guy so much.
And this album, he puts it on show. He's on display.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So
then the first video comes out, and I think we might have even seen that early on.
It was on
when came
Headbangers
out.
Ball, bro.
It was on Headbangers Ball. I think we were watching it like the Pie Pizzeria or something
Dude,
one night.
do you remember that?
Oh, heck yeah.
We'd
We'd
go,
hang
like-
out there and watch Headbangers Ball because nobody would want to watch it at the dorms.
Yeah. Well, we couldn't get it. We didn't have MTV.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. So
We
they
had to
the-
go to a restaurant to watch Headbangers Ball.
Yes. And I think
That's
we
right,
ended
because
up-
we would go take over the TV.
We
We
would-
would, you're right.
we'd
Nobody
show
wanted
up
to watch
early
it, so
enough,
we could have
eat
the TV.
pizza, and then be like, we're the ones watching, and
Yeah.
we'd put on
What are you doing?
Headbangers Ball.
Yep.
Those were good times.
Those were good times. That was a long time.
Yeah, Headbangers Ball. For anybody that remembers Headbangers Ball, that was an awesome show. If you were
With
liking
Ricky Rackman? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
dude, yeah,
Ricky Rackman was the
and
host.
Stormtroopers of Death soundtrack.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a great band. They had some songs that were 5 seconds long. Diamonds and Rust, boom, and that was the end of the song. They had a bunch of tunes like that. Very funny.
How's that not on your top 10? I don't know. You know,
I had it. I think I had that one on cassette. That was crazy. So anyway, Kingdom Come.
All right.
Album comes out. I actually really dig this cover. I still like it. It's just kind of classy looking, and it has this it has a metal kind of thing to it.
yeah, I always thought it seemed like I'm ready to watch like Game of Thrones or something. You know, it has that kind of like, this is a throwback. I'm ready to pull out my sword and go to battle.
Dio kind of stuff.
Classier, as you said.
Is that right? Okay.
Because it's, I mean, Dio had the thing. This is, what is this, like marble or, I don't know my stones
in a
here.
time where you had a bunch of really stupid album covers with bands and makeup and just dumb garbage, you know.
True, I guess you're right. Yeah, so
they came out with this, and
the marketing team's like, we're going to keep it classy and clean.
We're going to keep everything clean.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah. And it was, and I wasn't a huge fan of the name, but I was excited about the band. Okay. So kind of an interesting album cover. I still like it.
That's cool.
It's kind of neat.
I like the purpley tint. Yeah. You know, it's definitely stood out in the racks.
Yeah. So then you flip it over, and then there's the band, and then there's the man right there, Lenny Wolf. And they got all these really great players. I don't know who put the band together, if he did, or how this thing even formed.
Yeah.
But
Gene Simmons probably put them together.
Probably he was the one that did everything. So then we go this. So it's a really cool black and white picture, and you know, there's a lot of hair, but there's not a lot of makeup. They look a little more metal or some way, you know. They
look Euro metal. Does that make sense?
I guess so.
I mean, because the Europeans kind of had the black leather, and I mean, if you think of like the Scorpions and bands that came out, not British, you know, metal, you know, because they had their own kind of look, you know. But I think, you know, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, those guys, that British Invasion type stuff. But these guys looked more continental European, you know. I don't know. It just
I can see that. I know what you mean.
I mean, I'm thinking
because like 220V had that kind of thing.
I'm thinking Europe, you know, bigger hair, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Not as big as Vinnie Vincent, but we won't go there.
Yeah.
And that was a wig.
Was it really? But it had to be. God, that guy looked crazy. We still talking about Vinnie Vincent again?
Stop. But anyway.
So
yeah, these
cool
guys
picture,
look cool.
Black and white, no makeup. And then the first single came out, and it was Get It On.
Yeah.
Get it on. And oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that's
Zeppelin-esque guitar riff.
Yeah, but then it went into like that opening riff is awesome.
We come a long, long way to be with you. Isn't that aren't those the words?
Yeah, something like that.
It's not that easy doing what we do. There are those lonely times, and then there's happiness.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
There's gonna time what we do best. Get it on. Yeah.
But what I like about that song is that opening guitar lines is pretty cool. It's an awesome riff. But then
it started with the drum, didn't it? Something like that.
It had something crazy. Yeah, and then you had that Kashmir-esque. I think that's what really.
Right. It had that. I forgot about that.
Because that's when he's
did.
singing that part that you were just singing before. It had that, you know, the Kashmir type of Led Zeppelin.
But when you listen to the lyrics I just sang, you realize that they were not. They were ESL. They did not have great lyrics because they weren't incapable, sadly, of writing great lyrics because they don't speak English all that. You know,
you know, I would think that's maybe something.
It's part of the reason, like bands like Loudness, their lyrics were kind of stupid.
Don't even get me going with like Easy-O.
And Easy-O. I loved Easy-O, man.
That's
you introduced me to Easy-O, didn't you?
I think so. Yeah,
I loved those guys, man.
All right, we'll do something on that, but yes.
So Get It On was actually a great tune, but you know what the best tune Oh, there it is. Okay, it's on side 2. You know what the best tune, in my opinion, was on this
All right,
album?
I want to hear.
17.
17's awesome.
Because it's this really slow kind of...
That's the kind of stuff that I like. It's just the grinding, just a killer
Man,
riff.
it's great.
But actually, my favorite song on this album is What Love Can Be.
I remember that song.
It's a slow song. It's...
Okay, I'm going to have to go look it up.
No,
I did not... I have to admit... I barely played this album. I was so into Stone Fury, and then this was kind of like,
No, this
was good.
This album's rocking, man. Living Out of Touch.
I do remember
is awesome.
that.
Right? Pushing Hard is like
Actually,
another
that was a good tune, too.
just kind of just pumping song, and then you got the slow song, which they had a video for. You can look it up. Living Out of Touch. Because I remember the guy with the guitar player had the big hair, and then he had the pink purple Les Paul studio light.
Was it this him, the guitar player?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the guy?
And he has
Isn't
like
their names? James Kotick, Ricky Sarah, Lenny Wolf, John B. Frank, Danny Stagg. It's got to be.
You know, I mean, I just remember, you know, it's a cool track, and then 17, you know, is just a great just driving song. You can put that on just. Bang.
Oh, it's
awesome.
So good.
And obviously, Get It On was, I mean, they got, for all the Led Zeppelin type of hate they got, it only drove people to listen to it that much more. And yes, I mean, it does sound a bit Zeppelin-esque, but come on.
Yeah, it really did have that little bit of a thing. I'm trying to see if there's anything before the label is not all that interesting. Polydor Records. What does that say? I guess it's. It looks like it says something, but maybe it's not.
If you're gonna be a bear, so no, that's not it. It's not gonna be on there.
No.
What are you gonna be? Gotta be a
There
grizzly.
is something written on here that's not.
Grizzly.
That's besides
That's a Def Leppard one.
There's something written on here besides the. It says Sterling. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe that was just supposed to be something.
Maybe they were paid exclusively in British sterling. I don't, you know.
SP1. No, I don't think there's anything on here that's
sterling.
If it is, it's not. It's very hard. Yeah, it says Sterling on both sides, and that's about it. Anyway, Polydor Records. They didn't do anything too unusual with the. I mean, when they started coming out with these plastic things, it's like cheap.
Well, I mean,
it was always disappointing to open up and you go, eh.
Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of more towards the end of the heavy metal hairband bandwagon.
Yeah,
we're going to crank them out.
Did we figure out when this came out?
I think we were saying like 87.
It was right in that 88.
Okay. Yeah, so that came out at the end of our freshman year. Not the date
Bob
ourselves.
Rock. It says recorded by Bob Rock.
Oh, there you go. He's a big producer.
That says something right there. Mixed by Bob Rock at Electric Lady. Huh. Oh, Sterling Sound. That's why it says Sterling in there. It was mastered. Except What Love Can Be. Oh, check it out. Oh my gosh, I never saw this.
Okay. You startled me with your... You found something.
I found something. I actually never even noticed this, and if I did, I'd forgotten. So, What Love Can Be, which is one you said, right?
Yeah. I think who wrote that? I think that's an awesome song.
You know who wrote that? Lenny Wolf and Bruce Gowdy.
Is that your Stone Fury partnership?
Fury. So Stone Fury guys together wrote the song that you like on this album. So somehow Bruce Gowdy was at least in. Well, maybe he wasn't involved with the album, but
still a song that they wrote together. He brought
a song maybe with him
that
they had written as part of Stone Fury. And man, I loved Stone Fury. Kingdom Come I didn't love as nearly as much. And then Kingdom Come actually put out more albums.
I think they did. This is the only one I ever kind of got. They had one that
just had it was white with a speaker on it.
Yeah,
and it actually had one song that actually got a bunch of airplay.
I remember that coming out,
but it wasn't great.
Nah.
So
anyway,
it's
all right.
It was cool. I remember that was there's a lot of memories associated with that album, even though it wasn't. I didn't think it was great, but it had some great moments on it.
You know what? Take a good listen to it. And
I may have to bust it back out.
sometimes it's good. Like there's stuff like that. Like that's one album that it's not on my regular. I'm gonna throw that on, or 17. Like I'll pick a song. off the album or two that might be on one of my playlists somewhere, and it just comes up. I'm like, oh yeah, Kingdom Come.
That's a great tune.
Good tune. 17. And 17. That we reference that song, but it's just it's a driving kind of
slow plot.
Yeah, it's just and he's like does almost like that Robert Plant is. I want it, and he's in and out, and then he's kind of.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Yes,
it's a cool tune.
It reminiscent also,
but heavier.
Yeah,
that's what I like. It's heavy.
If you take the Stranglehold, Ted Nugent, it's that same kind of come on.
Yeah.
And that's reminiscent of that thing where he goes, I want it, and he kind of is coming in and out of time when he does it. It's great.
It's a good song.
Lenny awesome.
All right,
it's cool. All right, Steve's bringing another record. Oh, this one's fun as heck.
All right.
Do we have this open so you can see the whole album up there? Okay.
This is.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, same timeline or so as Kingdom Come.
So, I was dating a girl named. What if I should say her name? Her name was Shannon. I'll just leave it at Shannon.
All right.
This was in high school.
Okay.
I was so into her, and she was not into me. But she went to a bunch of things with me. But man, I was into her. She was so. Anyway. And so I had tickets to go see Billy Idol, and the Cult was opening up.
Actually,
I'd never even heard of the Cult, had no idea who they are, but she had, and so we're at Billy Idol, and she's excited to see the Cult. That's probably why she went.
Rebel Yell tour.
No, this was Whiplash Smile, I think, when I saw him.
Really,
dude? Let me tell you something.
Okay, go ahead.
Billy Idol, in my top 3 concerts ever. Billy Idol, believe it or not.
I just read something that he's with Steve Stevens. They're doing like a tour thing.
He was.
You want to go see him?
He was so. I would love to. He was so.
All right, let's do that.
Now this was an arena.
3 random records.
This is an arena, 18,000 people, like huge
on the road.
But you know what was so amazing about him is it was one of the. Getting back to what I said about Rob Halford before, it was one of the classiest concerts I'd ever seen in my life. It was just the stage was clean. Steve Stevens had a half Marshall stack. That's it. The whole stage was just this open. The lights are great. The sound in an arena, I'd never heard anything sound as good as this did. It was just everything was dialed in. It was so good. But these guys opened up. And the girl that I was with knew their song, She Sells Sanctuary.
Okay.
Well, they had it, son, make my back burn. And all the teenage girls back then knew it, and I had no idea. Then this album came after that.
And that one's off Nirvana. Love. Nirvana.
They had a song Nirvana on there.
Sorry.
So Electric comes out
backwards,
and these guys look so weird, man. I didn't make any sense. But then you listen to this out, and then when they came out and started playing, I'm like, there's Ian Ashby with that long black hair,
super long black hair.
Yeah, and he did, and they've got these huge like Gretsch guitars, and you go, what is going on here? Because they're playing this AC/DC kind of rock and stuff, which is what this album. Anyway. I know I keep repeating this. This is one of the greatest albums ever made, and so
one of your favorites.
So
this is definitely
I have a
on
story
my
about
favorite.
this album. It is. This is you cannot. This ranks up there with Back in Black as far as just straight ahead great rock and roll start to end.
Yeah, I can play this from beginning to end.
They actually had they did a cover, Born to Be Wild on here too.
Yes.
So we had a band. And we had this, I think I've talked about this before, how we had some songs in this movie in Park City years ago, right after the Super Bowl in 95. Well, because we had kind of made these Hollywood connections and we were in this movie and everything, all of a sudden record executives wanted to talk to us down in LA, okay? So, guess who I got to go to LA with for a week? Freaking attorney.
Shannon?
Which sucked. No, this was years later. But there's a reason I'm telling you this story. So we rented, I guess this was 94. We rented a brand new 1994 Mustang. Brand new. White. We're driving through the desert, summer, through I-15 down towards Los Angeles. And I will never forget being out in the desert, top down, and we turned this on. And it was one of the greatest nights of my life and one of the most disappointing nights of my life all at the same time. because you're in the warm desert air
Okay.
in a brand new Ford Mustang, listening to one of the greatest rock albums of the time and maybe ever, with my attorney. And I mean, it's like you're in this moment and you're like, who would I want to have with me right now? Not
Right.
him.
No.
You know,
Shannon.
I mean, I would Shannon or somebody, not him,
right.
where you're like sharing this thing together. You know, there's something magical in the air that night. I love the heat at night and the stars and the whole thing. And with my attorney, but dude, this album, it was so good. If you've never heard this album before, you must.
Yeah, it's
Get it
It's
and listen to it. You
All
just cannot beat this record.
so my introduction to this album is actually you were like, you gotta. Have you heard these guys? I'm like, The Cult, no. And you showed me the album, and I'm like, dude, they look weird. Like what And then you
What is
put it
this?
on, and I remember you telling me, he's like, anybody, because they have a song on here called Aphrodisiac Jacket.
Aphrodisiac Jacket.
And you said,
Aphrodisiac Jacket, yeah.
right, exactly.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And you were like, anybody that can put that as a chorus or lyrics and make a song out of it, they're damn cool. And I'm like, what the I don't even get it.
Oh
But
my
then
gosh.
what's Peace Dog?
Peace Dog.
Is the
Peace is a dirty word. Used
Yeah.
to be a painted bird. Yeah.
and
War, she's hard.
oh, dude. I mean, this album, and so I got into it and changed me, man. This is so awesome. I mean, I have a t-shirt that I got that's got this logo on it. My daughter wears it all the time. She's like, this is cool. And it's got like a skull, crossbones, kind of in place of the picture. It's by far one of my favorite bands since that moment. And I remember, same like you, like just driving down. If you want to get pumped up and you want to just put something on. I remember going to work, I think with Ron, and we would like crank this in the car and just be like, driving down the road, went in the tunes just blaring, and they're all kind of upbeat, got that, like you said, that AC/DC, and they're dry. I want to say Rick Rubin produced them or something like that. But anyway,
I think they did have somebody important on here.
Anyway, but these
Rick
guys
Rubin.
have been,
Dude, I can't believe you got that. Rick Rubin.
Because
look at how cool they look, man. Look at how cool
because I think
looks. And this came out. It was this hard rock, and it came out during the metal time, and they were like
totally different.
Nothing like
Dude,
that.
these
Anyway,
guys
I'm
were
sorry, cutting you
on
off.
Saturday Night Live. I mean, because from here they did Sonic Temple, which was huge
album,
right?
Big time.
But this set the stage for that, and then they did ceremonies where I saw them live. Because I mean, over the years, it's like, okay, when the timing, seeing, and all that. I saw them for their ceremony tour, which was kind of like that Native American theme. It was still good, a lot of cool songs. Lenny Kravitz opened up for them,
really,
which was awesome. And I saw him at, I want to say, the Palladium in New York. It's kind of like a theater kind of off of Madison Square Garden. And I went with my buddy Mike and Mike Feeney. And dude, it was so cool. And we had great seats. We bought tickets I'm like, I got to go see these guys. I love them. And we were kind of on the aisle, so we got like a straight shot to the band. And Lenny was touring for the Mama Said tour.
Oh.
So he was still kind of doing it. So that's an artist I love, is Lenny Kravitz. And I didn't know anything about him other than Let Love Rule on MTV. Then he's playing with these guys. Dude, they were rocking. But The Cult is one of my favorite bands of all time. And dude, open it up, because that inside stuff.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's a great packaged thing. And I mean, you look at the identity. These guys all look different. They are not heavy metal.
No,
they kind of
that's the
have
thing.
that.
They have this hard rock sound, but
and they have a tripper.
The camera
they
is
look
set up
like
to see the whole panorama, so we'll just do a piece at a time.
Bikers, yeah. And he's got the Gretsch. Was it White Falcon that he plays? Pretty awesome. I mean, now I think they have a model that's like his. But yeah, Ian Asbury got the super long hair.
Dude, the black hair.
Billy Duffy with the bleached, and they look like a biker gang just kind of rolled up, you know?
Which is so weird because if you go back and look at their early stuff, especially Love, you would have never.
Yeah, they were almost like new wavy, punky type. I mean, totally different. And this is a band that, in my opinion,
where did this come from?
They've really kind of reinvented themselves a couple of different times. But they are definitely a band.
They're just so great. I loved when bands would do this because you could just sit and listen to music and just stare at. You could sit here for hours and just memorize all these different photos, look at all the different things. I remember these people some of them looked so cool, and I'm like, is that Ian Astbury? Wait a second, who, just studying all these little things. I'm gonna grab my glasses because I want to see if there's something I remember on here that I should be.
And I always thought, like, he's got the bleached hair and it's kind of short, but he's got like what's a flag of Texas on the back. Yeah. I always like this shot because he's got the tambourine. So I'm like,
yep. Because he played tambourine shows
on a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
And and you got the bullets and the like machinery. It's a pretty cool.
It's a statement.
Yeah, I love it. And dude, what's up with the headdress? Right, he had that like hat.
Yeah, look at that.
Looks like
but that's part of the thing where you just go.
Fred Flintstone. I'm going to the Water Buffalo Club. Is that what that is? I mean, he's got that big hat.
So then you go on the inside, and there's nothing really super interesting about this, but it's still. But you know what it was? It was just classy. It looked cool. It was just everything about this album cover, everything start to finish.
I don't think there's a bad song.
And there's not a bad song. There's no bad songs on this.
I mean,
not only are they not bad, they're good.
Yeah.
I mean, because you have what was on here? Little Devil.
Little Devil.
Go through the track list. Wildflower. I played that. I played that live as much as any song I'd ever played live in my life. Every band I was in, we would play that tune because it was just so
awesome.
Perfect. Peace Dog, Little Devil. Come on, little devil.
That's got little angel. What I like is they got some cool.
Jacket, Electric Ocean, Bad Fun.
Yeah.
King Contrary Man was a weird song. And it was
it's a weird song because it like start and stop,
Love Removal Machine.
That's
talking about love removal machine. Born to Be Wild, like I said, Outlaw, and even Memphis Hip Shake. It was so awesome. These guys were so awesome.
I think the guitar playing's great.
They were on Sire Records. I don't even remember that.
I think they were like Sire. I think Madonna was on Sire.
God, I don't know. That's a new one to me. I don't remember that at all. I don't remember that at all. Anyway, so Sire Records. There's your record.
But I mean, they weren't metal, but they were rock.
They were. It was a straight ahead rock and roll AC/DC-esque.
And I think that's one of the things that I kind of liked about them. They weren't overly complex, over the top. They were just a good rock band. And still are.
Who they would have been like, oh, wait a second. It would have been a little bit like when Jet came out. Just this straight ahead rock and roll. And this is just notes to something. Nothing really interesting etched in as near as I can tell.
Hey.
Dude, you're amazing that you get that.
I don't know how I know these things, but I do love my Madonna.
She was great.
Yeah.
It's one of those things I don't want to like.
Dude, that first album.
All songs, Ashbury Duffy. And they really were the band. For years.
They've had different people come in.
Out of that thing all
Who's
the time.
the drummer that he was?
Because then he ended up with Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, he ended up with Guns N' Roses. Can't remember his name.
Oh my gosh, I feel stupid. It'll be one of those things where in a few minutes it'll just come.
Shout it out.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because he joined Guns N' Roses right before Use Your Illusion.
Yeah.
And he was.
And he was in that show To Be a Rock Star or whatever they'd come in and play. I think he was like the drummer of that.
Interesting.
Or Supergroup.
Yeah, he was. Was
that Supergroup
pretty cool.
When they had like Ted Nugent and like Sebastian Bach and.
Oh wow!
It was like a TV show that lasted like.
His name. Anyway, that is a great That's such a great album.
No,
we gotta bust this one out again soon.
It's awesome. This is definitely on my You know, you might have Billy Squier and Stone Fury. The Cult Electric is definitely Cult.
And this
album,
is,
but this is
gotta
definitely
be
the
their
one.
best album too.
Yeah. I mean,
Love is close.
Love is good.
I didn't think that the next one, oh my gosh, what was
Sonic
it called?
Temple?
Sonic Temple. That had a bunch of good songs on it. I don't think it even touched this.
They've
They had big
had
hits, a couple of them, but
yeah, no,
this.
they definitely have. I mean, and they've put out a lot of material since. I want to say, I think one's. I can picture the albums, but I'm like terrible with remembering.
the one that had that goat, that had the song "Star."
Yeah,
It was just called "The Cult." Is a great song.
That's a great
I
album.
saw these guys in concert about 10 years ago. The problem is Ian Ashbury's. He's lost his mystique because he put on a bunch of weight. So it's kind of
Ian Asbury was like, he replaced the Jim Morrison when the Doors
that's right,
got back
that's right.
together.
He had that.
I almost saw them in like
That'd
this.
have been cool, man.
They played in like some casino town, Jackpot, Nevada. And I know we were talking about Rat earlier, but anyway, but there's another tie-in there. But yeah, they played there. But I found out like too late, and I couldn't like change my schedule to go see him. But yeah, I think the Doors reunion or whatever. They have some cool stuff there at Jackpot, but it's like 2 casinos and State Line, and that's about it. And it's like Mesquite, kind of here.
Interesting.
Okay.
Since we're sitting here talking about records specifically, you know, part of the discussion is this is always much more than just the music. And the music, you can't beat it, but you also... I remember seeing this album in the record stores going, that is one of the most interesting looking, everything about it albums in the store right now. And
definitely stood out at the time.
Yeah, they knocked it.
From the font to the look, because they're kind of, I want to say gothic, which really wasn't out as, that wasn't a hot selling point. So are they, I mean, because they kind of look punky, gothic, like, just, you know, got the weird side with some shorter hair, which at that time everybody had the big hair. We saw that with Kingdom Come earlier.
Yeah.
But to me, what I thought was really cool when you showed it to me, it was like, dude, even the font, and you know that says electric, but it's, you got kind of like the image down here. It almost looks like a shield. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, the back. I think it's just really well put together, marketed. You know, it's a cool, but yeah, it stood out.
It was the packaging on this album, the colors, it is so well done. It looks so neat. It even feels good. Everything about it, it was kind of as if just top shelf. Just in the fact that they did this, and it wasn't just because some bands would put this stuff in here, but it'd just be like bleh.
Yeah,
you know,
and
pictures.
We're
but
talking,
they thought this through. I mean, they've got all these shapes going through here, and this is planned, and it's thought about, and there's a flow to it, and you know, with the bullets and all the different things that set this. I mean, it's so well done.
And again, we talked about this is
Sire
Records, Madonna's album. You know, who else was on Sire? That no rock bands that I know. I mean, to me,
I wouldn't have. Yeah, I have no idea.
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah,
but this is a great
yeah,
pick.
It's good. All right, Steve. Steve's going to bring us that was 2, right? Going for our 3rd one?
Yeah.
It's weird to touch some of those albums because as you know, when I bought them, I'd slip them in the...
Yeah.
But we can't see them, and we want people to be able to see it, so we got to pull them out of the plastic and touch them a little bit.
No, but I mean, sometimes it's funny.
You know what? I'm going to be dead someday, and nobody's going to care. My kids are going to go shovel them into a big trash can, and so what the heck? Let's enjoy them.
It's sad to see that some people that collect things, that's kind of what their families do. And it's, you know, people don't appreciate it. Or they have a garage sale, and you have somebody like us coming through, and you're just going like, whoa, check this out. You know, a Beatles on Apple or whatever, and you're like, how much you want? I'll just take them all, which is what I did with all my cassettes.
Yeah.
Told that story already. But, you know, I mean, garage seling's fun. Or you see them at a flea market, or you see people you find those diamonds in the rough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of cool to see that. We were at Gypsy Emporium over in, have you been over there? It's kind of like it's kind of like a shop in Hurricane.
Here in in Southern Utah.
Yeah, and it's kind of It's got like all sorts of just
Oh, they have records?
stuff. And they have like some, because each
I know where you're
place
talking
is
about.
like
I've been in
its
there.
own little booth.
because there's actually a store right next to that has a basement filled with records.
Yes, that's I
purchased
yes.
a few things there. I
Yeah,
go there
there's
every
some
once in a
cool
while.
stuff in those two stores. Yeah, but that's like, I don't want to say it's not like garage sailing, but in a way it almost is.
Kind of.
That's what it would
It's
maybe
very similar.
think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. I mean, again, it goes back to like the nostalgia of the record store feel, and you're like, okay, but when you got the family with you, they're like, well, you got 5 minutes, you're gonna check some stuff out.
That's a good point.
And it's like,
There are
no
these time limits.
I'm like,
5 minutes.
I can't even get through like the
Yeah.
A's in 5. What are you talking about? ZZ Top is at the back. I'm gonna take like 5 hours
Yeah,
here.
I'm gonna be here for a
Grab
while.
a lunch.
I'm gonna be here for a while.
Let's order pizza. No, in a lot of those
So
places,
funny.
yeah. I know the places you're talking about. Super cluttered, but it's like I want to find that cool stuff. Oh, I should do that. Check it out. What do we
All right,
got?
Steve's gonna bring us our last record for the day, and
I found something cool on here that I hope you can find.
Okay.
this. God, I hate to repeat myself again.
Is this with Billy Squire and Stone Fury?
This is as great of an album as you can possibly get. It's now there's interesting stories behind this though, because Klaus, who's the singer,
Yeah.
was having some vocal problems.
Right. Is that when Dokken came
Don
in?
Dokken came in.
Kind of laid
And
down
was the one that did all the
the
original
vocal
stuff
tracks,
for this.
like-
And I don't know that they were sure if Klaus was going to come back, but Don, yeah, that was one of Don's claims to fame was that he was the original singer on this album, which was still, in my opinion, the best thing the Scorpions ever did was this album. They've
It's
never. So
strong.
I actually saw them on this tour at Balch Field House in Boulder, Colorado. You know who opened up? Quiet Riot.
Ooh.
With Kevin
Kevin
the
DeBrow.
original, yeah, with not original Randy Rose, original with Carlos Cavaza. Is that his name? And
Was it?
anyway,
What did I say? Randy DeBrow?
Kevin DeBrow.
Kevin DeBrow?
Yeah, he was the singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rudy Sarzo playing
Yeah.
his bass. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, the whole thing. But anyway, they opened up for the Scorpions, and they were so spectacularly fantastic as a band. And it was right before Love at First Sting came out. So they actually, as I recall, played "Rock You Like a Hurricane" in the concert, but it was still the Blackout tour. And man, and I actually in junior high art class painted this.
Oh.
I was so into this.
How'd it
thing.
come out?
It was
was your
actually
painting?
a little bit better.
Because think about the
this.
album cover. It's pretty. We talk about menacing and things like this. Is just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Because first of all, he's got the forks in his
The
eyes,
forks.
and to me, it does look. Is this Rudolf Shanker?
Well, see, I thought it was, but I don't know that it is.
I don't know. But then he's got the bandages on his head. So
Yeah.
what does that imply?
What
is he
is
in,
this?
in a mental institution?
And they did the video for Someone Like You, and I think Rudolf Shanker came out with all with the stuff on, and it looked silly, but this artwork is so cool.
It's cool. I mean, then you got the broken glass. So is he screaming because he broke the glass, or somebody pushed him through the glass?
At the end of the song Blackout,
Yeah,
you hear the shattering
yeah.
and the screaming,
right.
which is, we're guessing, this.
All right, maybe.
So,
But it's pretty cool.
What a great image! I mean, who would have even thought of this image right here with this guy screaming and
glass
man,
breaking,
God, I love it.
bandages on your head, the stash.
And
That's why I think
the
it's
Rudolf
Rudolf Shanker's
Shanker
stash.
But I remember reading something somewhere that this was based on somebody else, but it looks like Rudolf Shanker. So I don't know.
It does look. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not many rockers with stashes.
with the stash like that,
not
especially.
like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So and when you get into this album, the songs, man, you can't, it's hard to beat them. They're just good,
So
front to back.
Yeah, I got in. So I didn't know anything about Scorpions, and my family had somebody stay with us, Larry Lears, who I think you met because he lived out in Orem. That's the person that we worked with Ron and back in the day.
Oh,
so
okay.
he like roomed with me as my family like put him up as he was like coming back to New York, hanging out, and he worked for my dad for a while. because him and my dad kind of hit it off. And, well, he ends up moving to, like, New Jersey or something. And he leaves Blackout and, like, Whitney Houston's debut album. Like, I mean, can't get more, like, you can't get more, like, whoop, you know, crazy. Whitney's Houston, I'm like, you know, that wasn't my bag of things right there. Oh, and Shaka Khan.
Whoa!
I'm like, so this one obviously is the one that I gravitated towards. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. I remember playing it, and I'm like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. And then I ended up getting, it just kind of like so intense. And plus, it had the really crazy 2 guitars, and No One Like You's on here, right?
Yeah. There's no one like you.
Dynamite.
I can't wait for the night. Dynamite.
Right. Arizona. I love that song.
Arizona really was a gas. That was a great tune.
That's a great song. So many great songs.
China White.
China White.
The song Blackout.
China White's the one with the bass. Boom.
Yeah,
boom,
it's a total plotting tune.
Boom.
It will return. It make no sense.
I mean, it's just.
And then 1, 2, 1. Can't live without you.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Can't live.
I mean, what do we just name 6 songs off this thing that are just intense and awesome in their own right?
Songs. Every one of them is just spectacular. So you got this great. Yeah, we actually we can look at the track list here in just a second. But then there's the back, which is kind of a continuation from the front. And then let's look at the track list. So you've got Blackout. Blackout, I really had a blackout, which is just a killer tune.
And fast. You know?
Fast. Oh my, yes, it was a great
song.
Song.
It's just, again.
Can't Live Without You, No One Like You, You Give Me All I Need. You give me all I need. Great song.
That's the one that's got the.
Now. Isn't that how that one goes?
Yeah, yes. That's like
Dynamite was great. We already talked about one. Arizona was great. China White. And then When the Smoke Is Going. When the Smoke is going down.
Yeah.
I think that's how that one
Klaus
goes.
Main sings awesome on that.
Because
it's so slower, you know?
Yeah, let's see here. So I want to see if they mention.
Because this is early 80s. I want to say.
Yeah, this is 82.
84?
82.
Yeah, 82. Huh.
Did they mention. What I'm trying to remember is if they actually mentioned Don Dokken in the special thanks, because I swear his name was somewhere. They did some
like
sort of
special.
a thank you, but I don't management. Oh, there it is. Okay, so you probably can't read it in the thing up there, but it says Don Dokken right there.
Thanks for laying down the vocal tracks just in case Klaus.
Special thanks. It has all this list, and then it goes to Don Dokken as one of the special thanks. And man, So here's something interesting about this album, though, that I thought a lot about. This album is a study on how the electric guitar can take a song that's here and put it here. Now, what I mean by that is if you listen to, for example, what was the one we just said? Can't Live Without You. Through this whole song, Matthias Jabs, I don't know how you say his name, but he's the lead guitarist,
right?
Is riffing. So in other words, Klaus sings, and then Matthias just plays a little solo, and then then they sing. But he's constantly putting licks in everywhere. It's as if the producer said, "Hey, play something right there." Instead of just having the one guitar solo in the one part of the song,
just playing along. But I think it's
just riff through the whole tune, and this riffing just gave it all this extra energy while he's playing. And that's one of the great things about this album in particular, is that Matthias is constantly
he's
riffing.
On fire.
He's a great guitar player too.
And I think, I'm going to look at the tracks because I can't think of them off the top of my head. I mean, give me all I need, right? Give me all I need.
Give me all I need.
Yeah, but that's got like that weird, like, it's got like 2 different rhythm guitars that play like opposite of each other, because it goes dun 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 dun, and it's like the guitars switch. So if you later on, as I got headphones and stuff, you start listening to it into the stereo stuff, and I'm just like, whoa, because Scorpions with the two guitar attack, I mean, that's something that I started this kind of opened up a whole new thing. You know, it's not like Kiss didn't have that. You know, it's a fallback reference, but not like that. You know, you had rhythm guitar and the solo, and you know.
No, whatever. Because when you listen to No One Like You, I mean, instantly you have these two guitars doing these harmonies. Right. But it's not just one guitar. There's a harmony going on with that on another guitar at the same time. So, and this was 82. I mean, that was before it was really in vogue to do that, because that became very popular throughout the 80s. You'd have these dual guitarists that are playing these, you know, these solos.
You'd have that. I think
there'd been other people before then.
Yeah, I think Lizzie comes to mind.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good point.
You know, I mean, that's another band that's grew on me over the years. I mean, obviously, it was not, you know, there, but yeah, we can talk then Lizzie. But that's talk about harmony guitars and stuff. But yeah, this is totally the first thing that for me that was just like whoa. So but this is a great. Again, you talk about road tripping. You throw this on and you're just rocking. And check that out, man.
So I had a poster of this image in color, but this is what it was a little bit like when you saw them in concert, because they were so Klaus was just everywhere, and he had this, which was kind of funny because he was also balding all the time. I got people calling me in the middle of the show.
Yeah, what are they doing?
Sorry, I should have turned the phone off.
What are you doing calling, man?
So, don't people know?
Come on.
So
we're recording this.
Klaus was bald. Matter of fact, I think actually
because he ended up wearing like a hat.
He was these days. He put on a hat, and then actually, Rudolf ended up being Matthias ended up being bald. Dude, I mean, all of them did.
These guys aren't young.
Well, no, but I mean, they were losing their hair back then, and so Klaus, but he always did. He had that kind of long hair, but then he was so thin up top. But man, the guy,
know the feeling.
The guy was so on fire on stage. He was just spectacular. Rudolf Shanker was just such a showman, and so this right here, this was what it was like. They were all over the place. It was just a rock and roll show,
and they're tight.
You felt it, and they were hot. Man, they were so good. Herman Rarebell, the drummer, even him, he became kind of he did a solo album with the song Wipeout. Remember, he had a video for that. So Francis Buchholz was the bass player.
And he just quit recently, I think.
I don't know.
But I mean, talk about bands that are still, because they just did they did something like I want to say the Scorpions. This was my introduction to the Scorpions, but they have since put out, like you said, Love at First Sting.
Which had
the one with the whistling,
like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done Love Drive, not Love Drive. Love Drive was before this.
Yeah. Those two albums before this one. So it was Love Drive, and then I can't remember the album right before this one. It's the one where the girl's kneeling on the ground. There's the dog.
We've talked about that.
Oh my gosh, why can't I think of the name of the album? Animal Magnetism.
Animal Magnetism.
Yeah, that was right before this one.
Yeah, so we brought that
up. It had
the
Zoo on it. The song
that's
Zoo.
A great song.
Oh, it's good too.
And it's great live. When they had Worldwide Live somewhere in between, which was a double live album.
Yeah, they did.
Dude, I think they toured on that thing for like 5 years. They toured forever. And being a German band, they were obviously huge in Europe. They played Russia, Moscow. I mean, they're one of these bands that they could tour all over because they were just huge all over. Not that American bands didn't have that, but these guys have been.
No, they definitely had a worldwide appeal. So Rudolf Shanker, I kind of forgot about this, but he wrote a lot of these tunes. I'm just looking at it. He was writing all this stuff. And, his brother was in the band early on, too.
Yeah, Michael.
Michael Shanker was in the band. And then they just had kind of a typical...
They're on Mercury, which was... I never understood the Mercury label with the buildings. Well, what's up with that?
I don't know.
Some Mercury execs can chime in, be like, this is what we mean by when we have
pictures of buildings.
Yeah, tell me what that even comes out. But 1982, we said?
1982. And I saw them in 83. So in Boulder, Colorado, with, I want to say I'm not for sure, but I think I might have been there with Kurt and Troy.
Kurt and Troy, the Bartlett brothers?
Yeah. I'm not 100% positive because I know I went with one of the Taylor. You didn't know the Taylors. but I think we drove up in his Camaro or something and to Boulder to see the Scorpions. And
See, I didn't have.
I was
older,
a kid. Once again, I mean, 83. How old was I? So once again, I mean, I'm going to these concerts. I'm 14. I'm a kid going to this stuff, and I had all these older teenage guys drive me around, you know, taking because they were being very nice to me.
But that's the benefit of having older friends.
Hadfield wants to go to a concert again, and he's exactly. So
you know, and they like. I know the Bartlett brothers love this stuff, and so
so they were very kind to us.
Yeah, we'll bring this. You likes rocking
little
out.
punk kids along with us. Yeah, I guess they were only 2 or 3 years older.
Yeah, but still, if that's now 17, you're driving
light years.
Yeah,
when
you got as a teenager,
and car and jobs, and then I'm a 14-year-old kid that's
hey, Mom, exactly. I'm going to the show. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I mean, they're cool guys, and they obviously in safe hands. So Mom's like, okay, you know, how much trouble can you get into? Just going to the show. I didn't have that. I ended up. I can't even remember. I think Lick It Up tour, I think, is one of my first shows.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw them on that tour. I still have a T-shirt from that. It was in Vandenberg opened up.
Adrian Vandenberg.
Adrian Vandenberg.
I can't remember who opened up. Oh, Accept. Yeah. Balls to the Wall.
Udo Dirkschneider.
Yeah. I can't even believe I remember that. But
and Wolf Hoffman was the guitarist. Man, I don't remember anybody else. I loved.
I just know Udo. But
I loved Accept just because they were so. What is this? That short little German guy with that voice.
Dude, what's up?
And he was he was like this wall.
Yeah.
And he had that humongous whatever that was voice.
Yeah. No, it's
anyway. Speaking of German bands.
Yeah, German bands, right? Accept is another one. But
that's cool.
This is a great album. If you want to get your introduction to Scorpions, this is where I'd start right here.
That's the one. This is the album.
10 tracks of straight
just
up rock.
Non-stop great stuff. Produced well, played well, tight as heck.
And sounds as good today as in 1982.
It stands up, man. It totally stands up. It's so spectacular. So, anyway.
That's our awesome. 3, man.
That's our 3 for the day. Well, anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Pleasure having you with us. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you have suggestions, I know we kind of randomly pick these things, but we do mix the ones in that people have suggested so that they get picked. So we'd love to, if you have any suggestions, things you'd like us to talk about, put them in there. We'll see if we have them in the collection, and if we don't, we can order them. There's a new record store here in town, apparently.
Yeah, we got to go
check
it out.
Do you know what it's called, Steve?
I think it.
We should talk about.
I think it's called the record store.
We need to go meet them.
I think we just.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I think we're going to go invade.
Go invade.
Go Vinnie Vincent invasion on them.
Yeah. So you can wear your pink shirt.
That's because I'm wearing pink. But what are you guys doing? We're invading. We dress in drag and show up. Might have to shave though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I think seriously, a 10-year-old can put on better makeup than he was doing that day. Freaking A, man.
We're back on Vinnie Vincent.
Dang, he fired me up. It's been a good show.
Yeah.
Thank you,
right.
Vinny.
That's right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please,
and I'm not judging your life choices or makeup application. I'm just saying it didn't look that good.
Well, it was.
That's my matter. It's America. I have my opinion. Sticking to it.
Exactly. All right, everybody. All right. Thanks for coming. Talk to you again.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Appreciate it.